All right, League, welcome back. This is the next part of my postseason series. Yeah, you got to keep seeing my face because I'm not ready for football to be over. I know I said I was, but I'm not. So now we're doing like an individual season recap. I'm going to start at the worst, work my way up, talk about the season, your team, and then afterwards, next video series will be my half-decade power rankings. Spoiler alert, number one's not who you think it is. I'm excited. I'm excited for that video. I'm excited for this one. I appreciate everyone who sent me a video or a statement of some sort. They will all make their way in. I think I got one from everybody except Pushan. Fuck Pushan. And I hope you all appreciate the amount of time that will be going into this video specifically. Hounding all of you for videos, doing all my research, and then making the video. I swear to God, this might end up being like an hour and a half long YouTube video. So, long form content. Let's go. Even though on TikTok it'll be like 28 parts. You can navigate. Throw me a like. Boost it. What? I don't fucking know. Let's get into it. Starting with the fucking loser. Brett. Didn't mean the government name you there, Raji. Anyway, yeah. Our loser, Brett. He went 3-11. He was the last place. I had him number 8 in my preseason rankings, as did ESPN. Couple bad beats, bad draft strategy, as he would happily admit, I think. He did send me a statement. It's not as fun as some of the others. It reads, "Wish I had something funny, but my team was so bad and irrelevant. Below is my statement." I shouldn't have read. Whatever. Fellas, as the 4th winner of this league, I welcome Pushan to the club and consider him a Mount Rushmore member of this league. Fair. Moving forward, I promise 2 things. 1, I will never go 0 running back draft strategy again. Number 2, I will be back. Sincerely, the GOAT. Lot of stuff crammed into a small statement. Pushan, I think, officially does join the Mount Rushmore of this league. He now has a 3rd place finish, a 1st place finish, and at this point, that's enough. Even despite in between them, he lost the league. I think it's still enough Mount Rushmore. And then, yeah, Brett kind of covered it. What I was going to talk about is Brett's horrendous draft strategy, and then just bad luck and bad trades. Not even bad trades, just bad luck. Brett was cocky this year, coming in, 2-time champ. Called himself the GOAT, self-proclaimed GOAT. Maybe not our GOAT, hashtag not my GOAT. He was very cocky, and then he put together the 2nd worst season we have ever seen. Only behind 2021 Eshawn, first year of the league, he went 3-11. I'm only putting Brett ahead of him all time because Ish did that in a 12-man league. Just teams are worse than this one. It's way easier to just shit the bed and have a bad team or something. But yeah. So, Brett, the draft on paper is okay. The running backs were insane, though. You didn't draft a running back until the 6th, and it was Tyrone Tracy. And then right after that, you did Caleb Johnson. So not only did you do no running back, you picked the worst 2 possible. Tyrone Tracy immediately lost his job, and Caleb Johnson, I swear to God, is not still on the Steelers. I have never seen him. So, yeah, I would say best draft pick, number 1, CeeDee Lamb. He hasn't been great, but he's better than all your other ones because you went CeeDee, Lamar, Kittle, Zay Flowers, Waddle. All of those have been either mediocre or missed a ton of time. And your worst pick is either Lamar or Caleb Johnson. I'm leaning Caleb Johnson because you can't really... Lamar getting injured, not really your fault. I will say I did almost an identical strategy to this in my other league where I went Bijan 1st round, and then I went JD and Bowers. I was horrible. Team was horrible. I did the exact same strategy as Brett, except I went a little more RB heavy. Didn't work. Don't do QB tight end at the 2-3 turn, guys. It's bad. Wow, this video, I'm already at 5 minutes. This video is going to be, strap in. This might be a 2-hour. Fuck. Yeah, Brett started 2-2 and then went 0-9 before clutching up in week 14. He had 7 games over 100 points but 3 of those were either 101 points or 100 points, and 2 of them were 104 and 106. The only week he actually had a good week was his final week where he put up 140. And then, the only other thing to talk about with Brett's team this year is the trades. One of them did not work. One of them worked excellently. But then I guess it didn't. The one that worked excellently didn't actually end up mattering. Whatever. Week 10, me and Brett traded CD for Ladd. Brett ended up losing that week when CD was on bye, and then CD went on to outscore Ladd by about 40 points from week 10 on. Tough, but probably wouldn't have mattered. But week 14, he got Pollard, Spears, and Fannin, who combined for 60, and he won that week. So, Brett, boomer bust team, what did he do? First year in the league, he won. Second year, he missed the playoffs. Third year, he won. Fourth year, he lost the whole league. So, I'm excited for the beer mile. That will have to be turned into a fellas event. There must at least be one fella present, or you got to live stream it for us. We need witnesses on that hoe. But I've already talked about Brett's team for 6 minutes, and he gave the shortest statement, so I'm in real trouble here. We're on to the next one. All right, I was going to go Hayden for the next one because technically Hayden came in 13th, but Sutton has a much shorter team to talk about. Hayden's team is way more involved. But let's go to Mr. Adam Sutton's statement.
Yeah, so to start this video, I did cancel my Disney Plus subscription, which then canceled my ESPN membership. So I'm not quite sure where I ended up this year. It might have been 11th, 12th, 13th. I think it was 13th. That feels right. Honestly, absolute disaster of a season. Just top of my head, a lot of injuries, a lot of disappointments across the board. I mean, Saquon couldn't do anything for probably, 15 games this season. I feel like I had a wide receiver hurt every other week. A lot of my early rounders just went down quick. It did feel good to start winning towards the end. I think all but one of my wins came in the last 4 games of the season. So, you don't win them all, but I really hope I won that game. Please let me know if I did.
So yes, Sutton is correct. He went 4-10. I think he came in second. I didn't really look at 12th. I didn't really look at the tiebreakers between him and Hayden. It doesn't really matter. 13th, 12th, who gives a fuck? And yes, you started the season 1-9 and then went 3-4 down the stretch. Clutch Gene? Or did I handed you your best players? Adam Sutton's turnaround is he fleeced the absolute dog shit out of me. I traded him Watson and Etienne for Ladd, and it saved his season and kind of fucked me. Granted, I did end up turning Ladd into CD, but CD was kind of mid. But Watson and Etienne became touchdown machines. I think they both ended up being some sort of crazy high, and it saved Sutton's season. Like you said, before that trade, he was 1-9. After that trade, he was 3-1. That's insane. Otherwise, it's just I like Sutton's team preseason. I think I had him at 6. ESPN had him at last. Well done, ESPN. You got me there. Sutton's team didn't really have any injuries. He just fucking sucked. Saquon was horrible. Sutton had the worst draft. Hindsight, obviously. But he drafted Ladd in the 2nd. He drafted Terry in the 3rd. Pearsall in the 6th. Bo Nix in the 5th was actually probably his best pick. This draft was dog shit. There was nothing. I couldn't even pick. Everyone I've been doing a worst and a best draft pick. Worst draft pick, I put Ladd, Terry, Saquon, and Pearsall. Pearsall barely played. Terry barely played. Saquon was horrendous, and Ladd sucked. But yeah, like you said, just the season came down to Saquon. If he gets last year's Saquon, he's probably a playoff team. But unfortunately, he got this year's Saquon, so he came in 12th. Adam Sutton, spoiler alert, he's really low down on my power rankings. Spoiler alert, he's number 14 in my power rankings. Not a good fantasy player, but hey, there's always next year. I appreciate Sutton always being as active as he can be. He always answers Kamish's texts when I text him, so hurrah, way to not come in last, Adam. if I keep going at my current pace, this will be a 70-minute video. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this, but I've already put in way too much work not to make it. And then I probably have another hour of content after. Fuck it. It's all going out. But yeah, let's not dilly-dally. I should not be spending this much time on this. Shout out the winter kind of slowing down work-wise and me getting hit by a truck. Anyway, Hayden, 4-10, 13th place. My preseason number 3, ESPN's preseason number 9. Yikes, I missed. But not really my fault. We'll get into it. I will let Hayden speak on the matter.
Good morning, fellas. Last minute recap here. Absolute brutal beat this season. 12th place, not what anyone had hoped for. Yeah, this was bad. This was a bruiser of a season. When I watched that ESPN fantasy recap of my team MVP was Wan'Dale Robinson. Let me say that again. My best player was Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver 2 on the Giants. I mean, that's pitiful. And then you look at my draft, right? Malik Neighbors, dead. Second round, Bucky Irving in a coma for 8 weeks. And then Tyreek Hill, dead. I mean, it was a rough season, in and out. I was just trotting out lineups. But as Shedeur Sanders would say, I don't know. Ready to put this one behind me. It was a lot of fun along the way. Ford, great job being a great commish this year. Pouchon winning really does boil my blood, but I should have just simply done something to stop that. Great year overall, guys. Love you all.
Hayden, I appreciate the compliment, and yes, Pouchon winning does boil blood. Also, I don't watch these videos beforehand just because I think it's funny. If I like watching them first time when I play them for the video. I don't read the messages either, so please no one get me canceled. But Hayden hit on everything I was going to say. I mean, even the team he closed out the season with, Marv's on the IR, Wan'Dale's hurt, Worthy is out, and then you just start looking at his draft, he went, like he said, Neighbors first round, played 2 games, I think. Hill, third round, played 3 games, maybe. Bucky in the second round. Bucky played a game, didn't play 10 in a row. Hayden traded him for Marv, who then got hurt right as Bucky got. Hayden just nothing. You just couldn't buy it this year. Similar story to Sutton, though. Started 2-10, then won the final 2 weeks. Looking back on it, Brett really got screwed because you and Sutton won a combined 8 games this year, and you won 5 of them in weeks, I think, 12, 13, and 14. Just absurd. Looking back on your draft, like I said, Neighbors, Bucky, Hill, Worthy was a bad pick. Ridley got hurt and was ass. Jaylen Warren. Beautiful pick. Jaylen Warren in the 6th, I think it is. Beautiful. But your best pick is obviously Wan'Dale. You got him in the 11th round. He ended up being wide receiver overall number 11. That's beautiful. And then for worst picks, looking back on it, I don't think I noticed it in the moment. You drafted Tua and Penix in back-to-back rounds. That feels like we should have kicked you out of the league right then and there. That's insane. But yeah, who knows what could have been with this team. I obviously preseason thought he was going to be good. Injuries said otherwise. So, Hayden, you're another one of those that are going to be really low down on my power rankings, unfortunately. No, actually, not that bad. Your one podium is really carrying you there. Bad season, great guy, enjoy Hawaii. Thanks for the compliments. And coming in at 6-8 and in 11th place. Once again, I think. I didn't really look at all the tiebreakers because season's over. It doesn't really matter. Cal was my preseason number 14. Cal was ESPN's preseason number 13, so not too shabby for me and ESPN there. Give it up. Let's go. I was very disappointed in Cal this season. What a fall off. He entered the league in year 3, I think it was. He got 4th. He made the playoffs both years with very good records, and then he just collapsed this season. So let's hear what he has to say.
Fellas, it's your 2025 fantasy football champ, the last Cinco. Wasn't our year, fellas. Was not our year. Made some really rough draft picks like Pacheco. Some other players who were looking great at the beginning of the season, like Emeka Ibuka, just didn't pan out. You had Daniel Jones go down with an injury. KW3 ended up becoming the second running back halfway through the season. Was just a bad all-around pick at the running back spot. Bijan Robinson ended up underperforming too. He just wasn't the sort of player that I needed him to be, so I had to trade him. 1 game out from the playoffs. Really disappointing. We just couldn't get enough points on the board for. There's no amount of Cinco magic on defense that can help a poor offense. But we'll be back next year, fellas. It was fun. Shout out Ford. Ford, you're the best commissioner anyone could ask for. I hope you become the Mike's Hard sponsored fantasy commish. So, God, I also really just hate that Pouchon won. Like, it had to be Pouchon. Like, it could have been anyone. It could have been anyone except Brett or Pouchon, and it had to be Pouchon. But go that kid from Calcutta. Good stuff, Poochie. The Cinco's coming back stronger than ever next year. Also, worst manager my ass. I'm not going to let that slide forward. You wait, Pookie. I'm coming back next year.
And that video right there is why I don't watch these beforehand. I just had a blast watching that one. A lot of questions, actually. I'm going to redline some of Cal's speech. A lot of it was good. He said he was the 2025 champ. No idea. He said Bijan was underperforming. Bijan was running back 2 and averaged 23 points a game. Don't know what else you want the guy to do. He said he was 1 game out of the playoffs. Nope. The playoffs, I believe you had to be 8-6. He was 6-8 and came in 11th. So, no, not 1 game out of the playoffs. But it was awesome that, and I haven't watched the rest of the videos yet, so more people might have said it. Hayden and Cal both saying that Pouchon losing was horrible. That's awesome. Good to see the league pile up on somebody. It's fun. I have fun. But yeah, it was an up and down season for Cal. I think he was 6-6 and then lost last 2 games. Like he said, Egbuka started amazingly and then just disappeared off the face of the planet. Higgins was in and out. He was up and down. They didn't have a quarterback. He was concussed. Weird season. Yeah, like he said, Kenneth Walker just straight up lost most of his touches to Sharbs. He drafted Bill way too high, played Bill, traded Bill in the most pointless trade ever to Rob. And yeah, in his draft, obviously his best pick was Bijan. I don't know why he hates Bijan. Bijan was amazing this year. His worst pick, I think he said it was Pacheco. He drafted Pacheco in the 5th. Pacheco was running back 52. He never scored more than 13, and he only broke 10 points 3 times. Yikes. And then I don't even want to revisit the trades. Right before week 14, he traded for Travion Henderson, who was on bye. And then he traded Bijan for a nickel, Zay Flowers, and Brock Purdy. I'm still... Don't let him get to you, Ford. Don't let him get to you. There was a lot of bullshit, meme, gaslight, rage bait trading going on in between week 13 and 14 to try and piss off the commish, and one of them led to Pouchon winning. So next time you all want to do this, just remember the feeling of having Pouchon sitting in Calcutta just with $450 of my Venmo money in his fucking pocket, even though he doesn't fucking need it because he works for Bezos. Remember that next year. Cal, I hope you are back. Having Cal as a regular season merchant is way more fun than having sucky Cal who trades away all his team players at the end. Fuck, I'll see you in the next part. Right, welcome to part 3. If you're watching this on YouTube, just keep watching. Ignore me saying 3. But this will be, if you're skipping around, this will be the Rag and Briggs portion, number 10 and number 9. Starting off with number 10, Thomas Briggs. He went 6-8, obviously finished 10th. I predicted him to be number 1, and ESPN predicted him to be number 12. Well done, ESPN. You got another one on me here. Another horrible year from a former winner. All 3 former winners played horrible this year. This was obviously my biggest miss. I was a little too high on his team coming in. But he has sent me a statement that I will read now. Remember, none of these are my words. These are all typed up by someone else. Dearest fellers, another season in the books. Alhamdulillah. It's become clear to me that Allah was not smiling upon me this season, so I've decided to undergo a Cassius Clay arc to convert me to the true faith in prison. The fantasy football off season. True faith in prison is okay. Like I said, I don't read these beforehand, so work with me here. Rags is going to be a journey. With this newfound faith, inshallah, the seal of prophets, peace be unto him, shall guide our team to the promised lands through the jihad against the hordes of infidels. He named a couple members of the league. May he protect us from bad trades and the failing of Jonathan Taylor. We look forward to glorifying his name throughout our conquests in 2026. Praise be to the Most Highest, the Westover Waffle Stompers. He said he's converting based off his language. I'm assuming he meant to Islam, but who knows? I am excited to see what his new name will be, Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, objectively cooler. I will say Muhammad Ali kind of killed it because Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali are both fire names. So we'll see what Briggs' new name will be, and once he converts to what I'm assuming is Islam. Congrats. This league takes all. So I think Thomas was trying to get me canceled there. Should I? Fuck it. I read it. Anyway, Thomas's team fucking sucked. He had an okay draft, I think. Amon-Ra first, Chase Brown second, Hurts third. Very solid, very safe. Then he went Marv, J-Mo, RJ Harvey, and Addison. Amon-Ra's definitely his best pick. Wide receiver 3 at pick 9. Not going to complain about that. Briggs loves taking Amon-Ra. He's safe. He's going to be guaranteed a top 3 finish, basically. And then you got Sharps and Kraft at 8 and 9. Those were both very good. The worst pick was Marv, I think. 4th rounder on Marv. He was banged up. He was bad. Just not the best. What else happened in Briggs' season? Like he mentioned kind of in his statement, that's kind of hard to understand. Whatever. He was a big trade guy. He started 4-1, fell off a cliff. He went 2-7 to close it down. And that included an 0-4 stretch to end the season. He was at 6-4, ended at 6-8. He did 4 trades, tied with me for the most. He did Kyron Williams for J-Mo, essentially, which I absolutely flamed Ish for. I thought Ish got taken advantage of. Turned out Ish has a fucking time machine because he knew J-Mo was going to go off. Props to Ish. He can hold that one over my head forever. I have never been so wrong. I thought that was just the worst trade ever. Well done, Ish. You beat him. So Thomas lost that trade. He then traded Marv and RJ Harvey for Bucky, which I think he kind of ended up losing that trade too because RJ Harvey was kind of a dog down the stretch. He traded Kyron Williams and Chase Brown for JT. On paper, he fleeced the absolute dog shit out of Rob, but in practice, I think all those guys kind of ended up sucking because Chase Brown didn't turn it on until the fantasy playoffs, and Rob wasn't in the playoffs. So, way to wait too long, Rob. We'll get to you. And then it was Amon-Ra and Bucky for, I think, like David Montgomery, which was just a meme trade that I got rage baited into accepting and ended up winning Push on the championship. Thanks, Thomas. Briggs' legacy is being hard carried by his one winning season. Otherwise, I think he has 3 double-digit seeding finishes. Sorry, there's a bug. And 1 4th place. So He needs a big year next year. Next year is a legacy season for Thomas. This was not the year. All right, and we go from Thomas and his problematic statement to Rag, whose statement is the only one I read beforehand because I was like, oh, Rag, it's not going to make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't. This fucking fruit fly, you bitch. We don't even have plants in here. That's a lie. We have a plant in here. Anyway, Rag, 7-7, 500 record, 9th place. That's sometimes good enough to get you in the playoffs, not this year. Rag was one of 2 people that didn't make a trade. That was Scott. I think Rag's a pussy and won't make trades, and I think Scott doesn't dial in enough to make a trade, so that makes sense. I had Rag predicted 13th. ESPN had him 4th, so Rag split the difference at 9th. Oh my God. In preparation of reading Rag's statement, I already have a fucking lisp. All right. We're going to try Rag's statement. Everything I read, once again, is not my words, and I'm reading it exactly how Rag wrote it, so when it inevitably does not make any sense, blame him. The Sabrina Cucks rallied mid-season to give us a shot. That's the starter. It was a hard-fought season. We had the Devil, 9, cursing Jettas. Fair. We had Old Age kill AK-41. Fight Old Age. Okay. The Chosen One, comma, Jesus, comma, Muhammad, comma, Yahweh, comma, the Enlightened One, comma, my son, like son in this, Trey McBride. That's a sentence, apparently. The child birth between 2 witches tried his hardest. Does Trey McBride have 2 moms? Is that the joke? Okay. He tried to fight the new leader of Little Mogadishu to save Sabrina. But just like Braveheart, the evil world order, the Commish, sent his soldiers illegally, all caps, to the fake champ Brett to slay him in battle for the playoffs. They young blood Tet and Williams, with the aid of General Frathu Stafford, couldn't help my Sunshine McBride. Sabrina will no longer go with the retirement home again next year. Best regard, Sabrina. Honestly, if you read in between the lines, he's making a lot of sense. He drafted a retirement home, and his only good player was Trey McBride. It's essentially what he just said. He just said it in really hard to understand English and lots of run-on sentences. But I agree with the sentiment. You drafted Kamara in the 3rd round. I looked back. I assumed you got Kamara in like the 5th or the 6th or the 7th. 3rd round Kamara. That single-handedly ruined your season. Rag had a pretty solid team. McBride, I think I saw the stat, he would have been QB6, like wide receiver 2, running back 4, and obviously he's tight end 1. That's absurd. He was so good. Like Rag kind of said in his statement, he almost single-handedly dragged Rag into the playoffs. 9 did indeed curse Jettas. Jettas was horrible this season. Carson Wentz, Max Brosmer, 9, didn't really matter. Woof. Bad. Javonte in the 7th round was a fun pick, Rag. I don't really know what else to say about this team. Like you kind of said in your statement, you did make a late season push. You went 4-1 through weeks 7 to 12, but then you dropped the last 2. I won't apologize for trading Brett. I got Kittle out of it. Kittle almost won me my semifinal matchup. So not going to apologize. It didn't end up mattering for Brett. It kind of only fucked you, which was fun. And yeah, Rag is one of, I think, 3 or 4 teams that is still hunting for their first playoff win. Yeah, I don't think Cal has one. I don't think Sutton has one. I don't think Scott has one. Cal and Scott each have a 4th place finish with no playoff wins. That's awesome. Just losing the semis, losing the 4th place game, 3rd place game. That's awesome. Yeah, it's bad. Rag's bottom tier by power rankings this season. Decent draft, unlucky, old people, no trades. Just a classic Rag season, I would say. Yeah. I appreciate the statement. Now that I'm processing it a little bit more, not reading it, it is very funny. Well done, Rag. Yeah, I think Trey McBride's going to be a first rounder next year. He was absolutely absurd this season. Rag, you were not. All right, part 4 or whatever the fuck it is. This will be the Rob Hodge, Jake McCosey episode. Apologize for using the government names, everyone. Got to keep the energy up. Can't lose steam just because I'm going to end up talking and working on this for like 3 hours today. Anyway, Rob, 7-7. Finished number 8. Barely missing the playoffs, I believe it was. Me and ESPN both predicted Rob in the 11th spot this year. Only thing we agreed on going into this season. So he outperformed that, but underperformed his expectations because Rob is one of the best this league has ever seen, as much as it pains me to say that. Like I said about Briggs and Brett, the winners did not fare well this season. A 500 record, didn't make the playoffs. He got the award for biggest fall off or biggest disappointment or whatever the fuck I made up that day. But yeah, with the resume of a championship, 2 runner-ups, and 7 playoff wins, can't be missing the playoffs. Got to do better, Rob. And Rob has sent a end-of-year statement that I will now read. This will take a while. For immediate release, a statement from the GM of Shake and Bake. As a top 1% user of ChatGPT during the 2025 calendar year, no AI will be used here. Okay, bud. To the players, as your leader, I'm sorry that I didn't put you in a better position to win out there on the gridiron. Despite the end result, thank you to George Pickens for consistently stepping up for your teammates. A number of injuries occurred during the season. I wish a healthy recovery to everyone and appreciate your dedication to the team. All the lessons learned and feedback will serve as fuel to ignite our off-season preparation for the 2026-2027 fantasy season. To the league, a first-time winner. Congrats, Pushan, I guess. Brutal. Some unfamiliar faces in the playoffs, too. Yeah, because all you winners fucking choked. I hope you all enjoyed keeping those seats warm while the titans of the league were hibernating. Thank you dearly. In a year where on paper had a fantastic draft but waited too long to pivot during a tough stretch, just a bad showing. I have no way to defend the poor management. Insert Ford cooking me for not making the RB adjustment earlier in the season when Hampton was out. Trust me, that is 99% of my notes. I'll get to that. I'll save everyone the trouble. He's right. It's as simple as that. It won't happen again. Michael Jordan missed over 9,000 shots during his career. This is one of those misses, and I'm excited to put my next shot in the basket. Cheers to brighter days ahead in 2026 and Virginia Tech football being back. Fellas, it's a pleasure. Catch you next season. Rob Hodge, GM of Shake and Bake. What a good statement. Cheers to brighter days. 2026, Hokies. I'm fucking with the motion here, Rob. I'm fucking with the message. Yeah, I'll just get to it. I have written down just in full caps the Omarion Hampton controversy. In like week 4 or 5, Omarion Hampton went on IR. He was pretty much going to be out at least like 6 weeks, I think it was. Rob did not have a running back 2, just had JT. As many of you probably know, I was very annoying with trades this year, so I was texting. I know I texted Brett a ton. I texted Pushan a ton, which we'll get to. I had texted each probably every day about trades. I was in people's ear about trades. I was in Rob's ear about trading one of his wide receivers for one of my running backs. And he just held. He held. And then he eventually cracked and traded JT to Thomas. What the fuck? He started 5-2 and then lost 3 of 4 to end it. Never breaking 100 in the final 4 weeks of the season. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Sure, trading with me might not have been the right move either, but trading earlier was the right move. I think we agree on that. It might not have been whatever. I was probably offering some bullshit, to be fair. But a trade was probably necessary. He is right. He did have a great draft other than... Actually, no. What is he talking about? He did not have a good draft. I guess maybe before the season, maybe he thought he had a good draft, but I ranked him 11th for a reason. He went Brian Thomas Jr., JT, Omarion Hampton, Baker, George Pickens, Roma Dunes, Eckler, and Godwin. Obviously, JT ended up being a fantastic pick. Running back 3. Georgie at wide receiver 4. fantastic pick. BTJ was maybe the worst pick I've ever seen in fantasy football. Granted, not really Rob's fault, but it's fucking horrendous. O'Marion ended up being a bad pick, and Baker in the 4th round was always a stretch. I like Baker as much as the next guy, but Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I mean, it's basically just... And Eckler got hurt immediately. Godwin never really came back into form. Ayuk never came back. It's just... He didn't hit on anybody except JT and Georgie. JT and Georgie were great hits, but they were the only ones he hit on. He waited too long to make a trade. I do believe that Rob Hodge will be back next season. A little better injury luck, 1 or 2 tweaks. I mean, if your bad season's going to be 7-7, well done, Rob. It's the offseason. I don't have to be mean anymore. Hashtag will still be Rob Sucks, though. We'll see you next year, Rob. All right, I apologize. My Rob hatred snuck into... I'm trying to keep 5 minutes each guy. Makosi, you're getting 4. Sorry, you auto-drafted. This is what you get. ESPN had him predicted 2nd. I had him predicted 7th. And he went 8-6 and came in 7th. Fuck yeah, ball knowledge. Even though he's the only one I got right. But I fucking nailed this one. Before I get too far into it, let's hear from Mr. Makosi himself.
Fellas, it's 4 o'clock, New Year's Eve, the last one of the work trailer. Because I had to clear out my shit. It's my last day here. And all I found in the fridge was a banana, old Brussels sprouts with cottage cheese. At least I hope that's cottage cheese. And our water got shut off, so this. Thank God I got salt and pepper. But, yeah, let's get to it. Yeah, what a year. What a year for fantasy, right? I don't want to eat this. That QB that I had, that I totally drafted on purpose, baller, ball knower, saving grace, what a guy, some would say. Those 2 running backs that I also drafted on purpose, also big ballers, I think. I'm pretty sure they won me some games. Tough year for the wide receivers, whoever they were on my team. Those 2 starting wide receivers, right? Everybody gets 2 starting wide receivers. Yeah, rough injuries. What are you going to do there? Tight end, that guy, could be white, could be black, I don't know. But he did okay. He did all right for me this year. Had some variations at flex. Couldn't tell you who it was, but a lot of different names in that position this year. It was a little jumbled with the injuries as well. That defense, ups and downs, dude. That one defense, one of those teams out of those 32 teams that I drafted entirely on purpose was a roller coaster of emotions. Kind of lost me some games. Again, this is all a guess. I don't know if it lost me any games. Kicker did well. Kicker was solid. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was white. I think I'm probably right in that aspect. But his name, it's not important. Dude, none of it's important. What really matters is auto-drafting is effective and it works. However, New Year's resolution 2026, draft my own fucking team.
I should have looked at how long his video was before I started. I got 90 seconds to close out Makosi here. Makosi, I appreciate the bit. That was good. Auto draft didn't do you too dirty. Like you said, you snagged Drake May, probably going to be the MVP in a late round. Debo was sneaky awesome. You got fucked over. Garrett Wilson injured. You got fucked over. Chuba Hubbard getting replaced by Rico Dowdle. I didn't see that one coming. Genty was kind of a bust first round. Nico Collins actually ended up being wide receiver 7, so that's great second round value. Yeah, just brutal. You lost to Pouchon. You should be mad at Briggs. You lost to Pouchon because of Amon-Ra's 40 piece in the meme trade. So you can talk to Briggs about that one. The trade you made, you traded me, Genty, for Dobbins and Monungai. In the moment, I thought that was probably the fairest trade I made all season. Genty hadn't looked good. And then Dobbins immediately went on IR, and Genty didn't play great, but went up and down. He went like 35, 8, 35. He had got the Gibbs treatment. Yeah, a good season for Makosi, who I don't think has a playoff win yet, but this is a good playoff showing. 8-6 winning record. Well done. He made some jokes about his team, but he was active. We know he's in there. So, good season. We'll see you next year, brother. Good luck on the new job. All right, part 5. This will be the Maish and Scott section. Clay will be in the next part. He gets his own video because he sent me a 5-minute video. Kyle went 8-6, finished number 6. I predicted preseason he would finish 12th. ESPN predicted him 7th, so shout out ESPN. Good hit there. Maish was surely excited to be back in the playoffs. It had been a rough 2 years where I think he came in, I think the first 2 years he came in second and third, and then he went 10-11. So now he's back in the playoffs, back at 6. Got to feel good about that. I do have a statement from him that I will now read. It's the last of our written statements. First, I don't got time. I don't got time for no Cal's record was the same as our champ. Fair point. The boys on I don't got time for no Cal really just couldn't piece it together at the same time. True. Started off with Burrow getting hurt, Stevenson being prioritized over Henderson, and Judd fighting legal battles. Yeah. Things looked positive with Quentin Johnson hooping, Pittman catching touchdowns, and Puka doing his thing. As the year progressed, it was just never enough against the jugs of this league. It is a sad day, but I am unfortunately ready to admit that I am the Pittsburgh Steelers of this league, slightly above 500 and frequently getting bounced early in the playoffs if I even make it. Maybe shaking things up next year and draft a QB in round 1. Pouchon won the league few years after doing that, so might as well play the long game. Kid's got a point. I don't agree that he's Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's a little insulting to Kyle, I think. Yeah, I'm going to say Kyle should be offended by that. Second and third place in this league, nothing to... He does have a 36-34 overall record, though, and he's 4-3 all-time in the playoffs. So, I see his point. But like he said, and I actually had this written down, insanely streaky year. Started 0-3, then went on a 3-game winning streak, then had a little portion where he went 1-1, and then he went 0-2, and then he ended 3-0. So, up and down season, ended at 8-6 somehow. Awesome. His draft was sick. I think if they could have put it together at the same time, like he said, like he drafted Puka, then Josh Jacobs, Burrow injury sucked. Travion, like he said, got fucked over by Vrabel loving Ramondre Stevenson. Laporta in the 5th was his worst pick. That was a miss. I see the vision, but that was a miss. Pittman, hand up. 2 things I will be an apologist for is Michael Pittman Jr. and Isha's trade for J-Mo. Those both were fantastic. Pittman fell off a cliff at the end because obviously Phil Rivers, but when Daniel Jones was in there, Michael Pittman was a top 10 wide receiver this season. Kyle also took Travis Hunter. I remember the draft night, he fell about 50 positions past his ADP, so Kyle had to scoop him up. Got hurt, not his fault. That sucks. And then you got Judkins in the 12th. I mean, Judkins was fighting legal battles, like Maish said, but he ended up playing good when he was in there. Maish did one trade, I think. It was at the very end. He traded away Travion for Egbuka. Egbuka had been playing horrendously, and Travion was hitting his stride. I think the logic was Maish wanted to win to get in, to make sure he got in, so Travion was in by, he traded him. I don't think it would have mattered because I beat the absolute dog shit out of him in the playoffs, so I don't think having Travion would have mattered. Still a weird trade, though. Yeah, Kyle was a Puka merchant this year, but 8 wins. Like you said, same amount of wins as our champion. We've had seasons where 9-5 is the best regular season record. Just a weird year to where 8-6, you're not even in the conversation for best team. A good season from Kyle, though. Solid. I think trending would be the word I say for Kyle Maischel this season. Trending. Good luck next year. Good Lord, this is taking up my whole afternoon and evening. I have company coming over. I have to drink a beer and get ready for that. And I am going to Scott because, like I said, Evan Clay came in 5th, but his part of this will take a very long time because he's a very long statement. So we're going to go to Scott. 11-3. He finished 4th. He was our regular season champ, so he got his buy-in back. Good for you. Little $50 Venmo never hurts, no matter your situation. Getting a Venmo for $50 will always feel good. I predicted Scott to finish 9th. ESPN predicted him to get 6th. So, fine. I don't think anyone was that high on Scott's team. But what a year after him being consistently and utterly ass in fantasy football. Just horrendous. He turns it together and has an 11-3 season. But we'll get to that more. I will let him now speak.
Good morning, gents. Happy New Year. As I sit here sipping my coffee, obviously disheveled from the failure of the season. It's a day of reflection. Obviously, I'm going to walk out of the season head held high. 11-2, 11-3, somewhere around there. Great season for Show Me Your TVs. Obviously, we came up short. Going into the playoffs felt really great. Show Me Your TVs was tired, injured. Team was down bad. But we are, like I said, walking out of our season head held high. A lot of hopes for next year. As a coach, a lot of milestones met. Moving into the season, obviously the worst player in fantasy. Took all the hate, took it all with a grain of salt, and came back. Showed you what I'm made of. A lot of learning lessons, like how to trade at the end of the season. We'll get there. I think if I put that together as a coach, you might see a better team next year. So, as I continue to sit here and reflect, drink my coffee, I hope you all got after it last night. Drank a lot of beers and whiskey. And look forward to a great 2026 coming up.
Should have watched that before I started talking. He took the words out of my mouth. A great season for an overall dog shit franchise. I know Rosie wasn't with him for New Year's, so I really hope his sister filmed that. That would be hilarious. He's right. He's getting there. He was one of 2 people that didn't trade at all. So I think it was the draft. He was dialed in for the draft. Great draft class. Achane, Drake London, Devontae Adams. He drafted Jacoby Myers. He drafted Scatterbo, Herbert, Ferguson, Woody Marks, Kareem Hunt, Trevor Lawrence. A lot of good value in the draft. Got a deep team. Just came up short. He was banged up in the playoffs. I will say a great draft plus an absolute cupcake of a schedule does equal an 11-3 season with no playoff wins. So here we are. Scott's opponents scored 108 points or fewer in all but one of his matchups. That's insane. Scott just needed to get to triple digits, and he won this year. He was sitting at 11-1 and had a chance at history if he would have just won one of his last 2 games. He did not. He lost to me and Hayden, tying him for the best regular season team of all time with 2021 Evan Clay, who went 11-3, and last year 2024 Ford, who went 11-3. Scott's still looking for that first playoff win. It should have been this year. He should have beat Pouchon. Drake London was banged up. Adams was hurt, didn't play. Let me make sure he actually didn't play. I've been here so long, my computer's dying. His boys were just injured. In the playoffs, Kareem Hunt only put up 0.2. London put up 5. Jacoby Myers 8. Adams didn't play. Woody Marks didn't play. It was a great team, great regular season team. This will be remembered as one of the more fun regular season runs ever. Unfortunately, it will not be remembered for anything other than that. I don't really have much else to say. He kind of said it all. Similarly to Kyle, maybe this video will just be, the hashtag will just be hashtag trending, because I think Scott is trending in the right direction. After his loss 3 years ago, he has now finished 7th place, which means he made the playoffs last year, and he finished 4th place. Not bad. Still no playoff wins, but not bad. Scott is trending. And yeah, thanks for making that video on New Year's Day. I did indeed drink lots of whiskey, including some that you gave to Thomas for his birthday. He graciously shared it with us as an offering. So Happy New Year, fellas. I will see you in the next part. All right, part 6. I think I could fit in 7 parts. I'm not going to say the number. Part 6. Clay, I'm going to get right to you. You gave me 4.5 minutes, so I'm not going to fuck around with your time. I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to try and squeeze a second person in this video.
Fellas, it's your boy coming with a little season recap as requested by Commissioner Ford, who had an interesting season where he got injured, re-injured, engaged, rage-baited, and almost deleted the league, and perhaps lost the commissioner title to Pushan. Congratulations, Poosh. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, my first fantasy football experience with you drafted Pat Mahomes and Kyler Murray in the first and second round. Then I think you drafted your whole team based off of TikTok. And now you won. So I'm glad that cricket knowledge has paid off in another sport. I'm a little overdressed for court. The judge I'm working for is a runner, I just found out. So now I have to go run in the cold. That will be fueled by the rage of Eshawn belting my ass, taking my Cougars out behind the woodshed and Old Yellering us. My issue all year was receivers, man. I think this is probably the best management overall from me. But, you know, elephants in the room, man. This guy can't finish. Every single year, I lose in the playoffs. Still looking for that first Fantasy Fellas playoff win. I was able to get Bijan in a very fair trade with Cal. Him, McCaffrey, you know, that's a great two-headed monster. But, again, no receivers held me back. Lamar has been a Cougar 3 times now. That's over with. I think he's washed. Alec Pierce gave me a couple good games. Jaden Higgins gave me a couple good games. Judy was a horrible pick. I think the best draft pick I've ever had was my one auto draft pick in this draft, Mr. Rico Dowdle. 3-headed monster at running back to the end of the year. Not bad. However, when your receivers give you like 4 points combined, you're not going to win a lot of ball games like that. I still think I deserve reprimanded because of just poor decision making during the draft. I had a lady over. I was cooking dinner. I had Ibuka and Matthew Golden queued up. And I had shit on my hands, and I said, hey, go draft whoever you think's best. Chick picked Matthew Golden, who put up, I think, a season high of 8 once. And then I eventually dropped him. For a guy who started 1-4, Ibuka went off first, 6 weeks of the season. That could have been a difference maker for me. Could have had better seeding. But yeah, man, you live and you learn. So I vow to be more locked in next season. Decision-making and morale will be better from the preservation. We're looking into bringing Zach Wilson back. We like locker room guys. Phil Rivers was a good locker room guy at the end of the year, even though we couldn't get it done. I'll close with the highlight of the season, I think, was knocking off Scott, who was a juggernaut all year. But yeah, relatively disappointing season. I mean, this wasn't my best team that I've had in this league. Probably not my worst. I don't think we maximized our potential, though, and we will be hungry and back for more. I wish you all a wonderful New Year's Eve at Tony and Hose or wherever you guys go in DC now. So good luck and God bless.
Yes, no one took their job more seriously than Evan Clay. Thank you for sending that video. I don't really have much else to say. I mean, he he kind of said it all. I predicted him to finish in 5th this season, and he did. ESPN predicted him to win. Sorry, ESPN. He had a good draft. Oh, no, he didn't. I'm thinking it's someone else. He had a shit draft. He drafted CMC, which was his only good draft pick. He did Bowers in the 2nd, JD in the 3rd. I did that in my other league. I was horrible, so well done with dealing with that. Took DK, Judy, and Golden. Jerry Jeudy got me too. I thought he was going to be awesome. I also thought Matt Golden was going to be awesome. Drafted him in my other league. Drafted him first round of my dynasty league. Woof. Yeah, I agree with what you said. Good management year after not a good draft. There's a reason that you started 1-4. I will say you did find a couple gems. Rico in the 14th finished as RB 16. And Pitts in the 10th finished as tight end 2, I think. Yep, still one of those teams looking for a playoff win. Your fair trade with Cal was bullshit, but it didn't really matter because you still lost. I will say you fleeced Brett earlier in the season. 2X champ traded you Lamar and Zay for JD and DK. I don't know if JD played another fucking snap after that, so good for you. And that sucks to hear about the Golden Egg Buka thing. I don't think this league has a very good track record of letting women pick our draft picks. Not that we do a good job anyway, but still. Probably do your own draft picks from now on, fellas. He said it all. He talked about his team. Great year, I would say, for the draft pick. For the draft. CMC, running back 1, average 25. Amazing. Clay, hell of a season. Shout out the Rebels. Fuck Georgia. Good shit. And good luck in the college football semifinal, baby. All right, and because Pushan didn't send me a video or a statement, he gets to be shoehorned onto the end of Evan Clay's video. Our winner, ladies and gentlemen. I don't fuck with this guy at all. Just kidding, Pushan. I love you. He went 8-6. He won the league. An impressive playoff run. Me and ESPN both predicted him to finish 10th. Spoiler alert, he did not. Pushan's team, man. It is just a classic situation of just a solid team that makes one bullshit fuck ass trade and then gets hot at the right time. Like, he had a good draft. Like, AJ Brown was fine. Derrick Henry was fine all year. Obviously won him the championship in the end. Mike Evans, not great. Mahomes was a good pick. Monty was a solid pick. Olave was the winning pick, though. He got Olave in like the 6th or the 7th round. Stop it. And he won leagues. I mean, he put up like 100 points in the fantasy playoffs. Pushan also traded for Amon-Ra and Bucky for nothing. And no matter what him or Thomas says, that trade absolutely did win him the league because he would have lost first round to Mikosi. Mikosi probably would have lost to Scott. And then Scott probably would have lost to Ish in the championship. So Ish got fucked out of a championship. Scott got fucked out of a chance to play for the championship. This trade will probably single-handedly change how I manage the league. It's going to be interesting. But Pushan, couldn't have happened to a worse guy. Thanks for not sending me a video or a statement or anything. I hope Calcutta is treating you mediocrely at best. I will say, and I've said it before, Pushan was one of the people I was bugging all year for trades. Trade me. I want Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was playing like shit, and Pushan every time said, I'm going to hold on to the big fella. I'm like, dude, I'll take him off your hands. He's playing really shit. Pushan was maybe the one person I was sending trades to where I was just like, this is a bad trade for me, but I'm so stubborn and I want him to just relent on Derrick Henry. I was offering him way too much. But he held on to him and he won him the fucking championship. Good job. If Pushan sends me a video before Pushan, if you're seeing this and you want to send me a video or a statement, I will play it in your portion of the Power Rankings video that I will put out shortly. So feel free to. Our winner this year, congrats on Pushan. Keeps up the trend of a double-digit win team has never won this league. Fun. Regular season merchants like me like Clay, like Cal, we don't do well. Time to manage better and or find Thomas DeForest. And welcome, part 7, or if you're on YouTube, just probably the hour mark. Godspeed for anybody who made it this far in the video. It probably is just me and Ish because we're the last ones that I've talked about. If you are watching, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Ish, 9-5, came in second place. I predicted that. My preseason prediction right here on this little St. Jude's note. Ishan, number 2. What a call by Kamish. What an absolute call. ESPN did predict him third, but whatever. So I got Ish at second correct, Clay at 5th correct, and I predicted myself 4th. So top 5, I did pretty good. I got 2 of the 5 exactly right, and I missed myself by 1 spot. Not the worst. I would like to start by saying it has not been talked about enough what a historic year Ishan had. Ish put up 1,879 points in a single flex 14-man league. That is, and I went back and checked. I didn't check great, but I checked. That is by far the highest scoring season anyone's ever had. And you know what? I'm going to go back and check that right now, actually. Yeah, that is the highest scoring season anyone's ever had by a significant margin. I think me at 17-17 was close. So Ish, even back when we were a 12-man league, nobody came close to that. Well done, Ish. I think I speak for most of the league when we say we probably wanted you to beat Pushan. I mean, I don't want anybody in this league to win, thrive, be generally happy or anything, but it would have been cool. I know Ish has a statement. Let's get into it.
What is up, Fantasy Spells? Sending my season recap here with Crazy Mad. I'm just going to do the first few weeks. Speed Ford, Dog Walk by Hayden randomly, be a 2X champ, Dog Walk him actually. And then looking at week 4, lost Scott, whatever. And then week 5 is what I really want to talk about. Me versus Rag right here, lost by 0.33 points. Due to, I want to say, the Jaguars. I think their defense got a pick 6 at the end of the game. Not what we want to see in week 5. Not good at all. The rest of the way through, honestly, nothing crazy. Good 150 points, good 170 point games until the championship that we've already discussed. And you know my thoughts there. There's a certain country out there that really hates those thoughts. But yeah, you know what? Good season all around. I'm going to give a massive shout out to my boy, Jason. I think great steal of the draft. Did killer things for me. You agree? She agrees too. What? So let me think what else we got. Another huge shout out to Jameer Gibbs doing nasty things most of the year. Has some pretty shitty games. Nothing crazy. Honestly, kind of what you expect. Round 1 pick. Always good, never too great. Also, JMO pulled through for me in the clutch when I needed him to. Gonna end with 2 people I hate here. First of all, fuck AJ Dillon. That guy just sucks. Sure. Don't even think he was on anyone's fantasy team until mine at the end. I just fuck that guy. Hate him. And then also a big fuck you to Kyle Manen guy. Whatever, however you say his name. Fuck that guy. Taking up DeAndre Swift snaps. Didn't know whether to start Swift or somebody else for about 9 weeks out of the season. Crazy work. Of course, sit Swift, 30 points. Start Swift, 5 points. You know how it is. But anyways, you know what? Take the points for title. As Ford said in the last video, yes, I'll be harping on that. That was great. Great offense. We don't play defense here. You're softies. But yeah, overall, solid season. Waiting on the little Venmo to buy some hats for the fellas. And yeah, catch y'all next year.
Yeah, just a fantastic self-analysis from Ishan. I don't particularly know how he failed to mention Kenny Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell this season, fucking absurd. I don't know if he's drafting him, if he got him off waivers, but man, he won Ish so many games. And then, yeah, he talked about his big hitters. Gibbs, running back 4. JSN got in the 3rd round, wide receiver 2. Absurd value. He finished strong. He finished the season 4-1 after kind of middling around. I think it was post-JMO trade. I've talked about it plenty of times. That JMO trade was just fantastic for Ish. He also did a great job. Lost Kyler and Brissett. He kept Brissett. He rode with this boy, and Brissett did not disappoint. He put up impressive week after impressive week after impressive week. So yeah, it's tough to see. I don't know how he scored that many points and only had a 9-5 record. That's absurd. And 2, it's really sad to see the highest point scorer in the history of this league fail to break 100 when it truly matters. What a choke job. But I will say the same thing about Ish that I said about Scott and about Kyle. Trending. Ish, you are trending, my boy. Year 1, you finished dead last, 12th. Year 2, I think you finished 11th. Then you finished 7th, and then 6th, and now 2nd. At least I think that's what it is. So we're trending. And I'm going to talk about myself now for a little bit. What a season for me. 2nd place. I hope you enjoyed that Venmo. It hurt. And finally, with my last tired breaths, my team. I mean, I went 9-5. I went number 3. I predicted myself 4th. ESPN predicted me 5th. I was so hyped for this team. I had Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, James Cook, 1, 2, 3. I was over the moon. I got Devonta Smith in the 4th. Tony Pollard in the 5th. Dobbins in the 6th. Ingram in the 7th and Etienne in the 8th. Oh, I was over the moon. So hype. Ah, shit. All right. I'll go back to glazing myself right after I let my brother in. All right, he's fine. He can hang out with Reagan. Yeah, I was very happy about my draft. I would say my best draft picks, Etienne in the 8th. I don't know why, but I was super high on him. I think new offense. I think Trevor has it. And I got Cook in the 3rd. Most likely he's going to be the rushing champ this season. He's had an awesome year, a lot of touchdowns. Obviously, Josh Allen was good too. But my worst draft, I took Tony Pollard in the 5th round. Why did I do that? I fucking Titans. And I took Evan Ingram in the 7th. He didn't pan out at all. Jamar Chase, after the first 4 weeks, probably not worthy of the 1-1, but he was pretty good, so I feel like I kind of beat the 1-1 curse. Yeah, Allen was QB1. I wheel and deal all season. I get Genty, I get Lamb, I get Kittle. I build this team just to put up 150 and fucking lose. Choked it away. I traded Monungai and Dobbins for Genty from Okozie. I got CD from Brett. I got Sutton to give me Ladd, who then I used to get CD. I got Kittle last week. This was my team. I thought this was the year. I thought this was the team. That did not end up being true. I just choked. It's sad. But there's always next year. I now have a top 3 finish under my belt, which feels good. And I'm realizing, and we don't need to talk about my team anymore. I'm realizing I forgot to play one of Rag's parts to his little speech. So here we go. So yeah, that's the league 2025. I feel like nobody will watch this whole thing, but if you do, or if you only want to watch your part, feel free. I had fun making it, even though it took me the majority of a Friday afternoon and evening. It was fun. We will be back next season. Bigger and better things are happening. I have a couple things in the books. Please just text me back. I feel like I text all the time, and if anyone ever answers, they're just trying to rage bait me. Someone just, a normal text. If I try to plan something with the group, if I try and do something, just a normal text would be great. I will be putting out a couple more videos, but this is the official wrap of the 2025 season. I will see you guys when I see you.